Okay, guys, so we actually should be live on Facebook right now.
Woohoo!
Grabbing the link right now, and I'll be posting it to everywhere where people were actually reaching out and asking questions. So,
All right.
all right, everything should be working now. Making tweets, and yeah, so everything is actually starting up right now. Go ahead and
Your audio's being goofy, by the way.
how's it being goofy? Saying back double?
No, it's fading in, fading out, and being chunky.
Oh, really? Okay, I know it is.
That's worse. Getting it together, guys. Hopefully we'll be up in a second here. Sorry about this. A lot of eggs in the pan. No, I'm not hearing Gary at all. All right. So, well, I can talk, but if I can't hear you, that's going to make it a little interesting, isn't it? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. Thanks. So Gary's mild attempt at sign language will continue in the background while he pushes buttons, and I just kind of have to vamp on stage here.
Hey,
So,
can you hear me
no
now?
problem. No problem. Oh yeah, I can hear you now. You should do a Verizon ad someday. All right. So, for those of you who just suffered through the last 10, 12 minutes, thanks for your patience, both of you. I think there's two. We probably lost everybody else, but thanks for hanging out and seeing what this show's all about. This is why we're doing a Q&A right now. We're not recording live with our first guest, so we can kind of work through some of these little bugs. And we figured we'd invite you along for the ride, for better or for worse. So it's kind of where we're at. So what I envision doing is I think Gary and I'll do a quick back and forth, kind of introduce ourselves, maybe what got us into this hobby. I'll ask him a few questions. We'll kind of go from there. And then I think we can field a few questions. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments now, and we will get to them. I mean, if they're good. I mean, if they're crap questions, let's face it, I'm not going to answer them. Well, actually, they might be fun to answer, so maybe we'll do that too. But we'll see what happens. So first off, let me just kind of start by saying, hey, I'm Chris Whitpan. Welcome to Game All Night. This is not necessarily episode 0, but it's definitely the beginning. We're getting our feet wet here, going to see what's coming on. And go from here. I've been in board gaming since about, since the 80s. Then I kind of took a little bit of a pause when I realized that nobody would play RPGs with me, and I just had a bunch of games. Sound familiar at all? And no friends to play them with. Oh my God, that sounds so sad. And then eventually trailed off and rediscovered them in about 2012, and I've been loving gaming ever since. So Gary, what kind of got you back into this stuff?
I'm very loud. So, what got me into
you
board
are,
game was, what got me into board game was, I was originally a Risk player and everything like that, and I played a lot of Stratego and stuff. But then over time, I basically fell off of playing board games. And then college came around, and one of my best friends, Tony, he got me back into board game. He was just like, "Hey, you want to play a game of Agricola?" And
Nice.
coming from
Yeah,
someone
sure.
that
Agricola sounds
did
great.
not play board games at all or anything like that, and then also my first introductory into it is Agricola. So, needless to say,
Wow.
that was
You just dove right in.
yeah, exactly,
Don't
just
pass Catan, just go straight into Agricola.
exactly. And the funny thing was that then
Can
the
I tell
second
you
game we
how?
played that night was Dominion. So,
Okay, I can see that.
but okay, I fixed my volume. But anyways, so that made things really interesting, and ever since then, I just got really into it. It was a slow progression. Over that first year, I bought a little bit of games, like one or two, and then it was like 3 years later, I then like bought like 100 within a year, or something like that.
Yeah, I think we all remember that first year pretty well. The so let's. I want to go back to this Agricola game because I remember vividly my first game of Agricola and not understanding how it was so much damn work to make bread. What was the deal with, like, it was like the worst thing ever to make bread, and I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to figure this out. I think I had, if I had 5 begging chips, I'm lying. I swear to God, it was horrible. And for some reason, though, I ended up liking the game, and I kind of have all of Uwe's stuff now. But man, to this day, that's still playing against somebody who knows those cards just kicks my butt every time. So what was that like for you?
Oh, real quick, before we go into that, sorry, just for people that are watching right now, there are people that are commenting and stuff like that. By the way, one of the cool little things that we're going to be doing in our show, when we actually start doing it live, or when we do Q&As like this and little quick things like this, is if you say things in the comments in the videos of the Facebook, Twitter, or anything like that, we can pull them. So, for example, JP just said, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And oops, that's the wrong thing.
JP.
Send that one. Don't send the other one. Yeah.
JP, I love JP's stuff.
View queue, clear queue. It should be sending us like Jay just sent 2 seconds ago. All right, whatever. I'll work on that.
You're killing me, Smalls. Come on, come on.
I know.
That's gonna be your nickname for this entire show. Is gonna be Smalls because I think you're just gonna kill me like 58 times. That's it.
Yeah,
That might
we'll
stick.
go through that entire process for the first like 10 episodes, and then I'll get it all
Then
down
we'll
by
unleash you on the wild. Nice. All right,
But
so
anyways,
come on,
yeah, sorry,
come
your
on.
question
You're avoiding this begging chip conversation here. Like, how many
think I
did
got
you
a beg-
take? Because it was it
I
like
don't think I
5
ever took
pounds?
a begging chip. No, I don't think I took
What?
one until maybe my like 5th game or so.
Are you serious?
In that
Like, look, I
Yeah.
mean, you give me Le Havre, I'm begging all the way to Sunday, but I mean, Agricola, no, it doesn't work, man. I'm not good at all. Sorry. So, all right. So, do we have any questions yet?
Yes. Let me see.
Because you're gonna have to softball them to me, because I'm not gonna
Okay.
be able to do all these things at once.
At the moment, there are no questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free. People are saying things, but people are not
No
asking
questions.
questions. But people, actually, they
I guess we're
did
just
say, hey, what's
we're
up,
just
guys?
awesome.
So,
What up, yo?
so how you doing, Jay?
Is that it?
Jay's,
Is that all we're doing here?
Yeah, no, but Jay he runs a Facebook, and he's also another Dice Tower contributor. He does well, I'm having a
I know.
brain fart, and the name is
He does the half handicapped. He does great stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you.
It's the,
I have like
the
stuff all around here, like
flare,
4-game
so the
art.
flare,
and
the
stuff.
fling a flare. Why am I having
Fling
a
a
brain
flare.
fart?
Wow. That's like brain diarrhea, Gary. Let's be honest here. Come on.
That's gross.
Man.
But anyways, no,
I'm
but
gross. Haven't you
after
figured that out?
Agricola, it was then just like little games here and there and stuff like that. And after a while, it's just like, then I started helping run a meetup group. And then after helping run that meetup group, that's kind of where I was just like, hey, I should start making YouTube videos. And that's how I got here. Fling a flare. Oh, so I was close. Yeah. See, I was there. There it is.
Close. Fling. You're killing me. All right. Whatever. I take no. We have the cat wandering around down here today, so if Gus happens to visit, I make no apologies. He's the live studio cat, as it were. So,
But while a couple more questions pile up,
15
basically,
pieces of flair.
let's
There you go, Jay. You might have to rebrand your show just based on Gary, though. I don't know.
no, but let's talk about. Oh, okay, yeah. So let's talk about how we came with the concept of this show. Like, how did that whole brainstorm start? How does how
Oh,
the birth of
man.
this begin?
Well, I think in order for us to explain that, I think we have to kind of go back to when you and I met, which
Yeah.
was it was just Gen Con. We were just kind of hanging out at the Secret Cabal meetup, and we just kind of ended up at the same table. Roy Kennedy was there. It's when I met him. Gil, who may show up later, was in there. And next thing you know, like Roy's like, we got to play this game. I'll see if I can borrow it off my friend. And he snagged Crossfire and played a couple rounds of that, and that was a lot of fun. And that's when I kind of realized, like you're a video guy. I'm more of a nothing guy, and we just kind of ended up tooling around a little bit. And then the fast forward to PAX, where that's my local con. It's about half an hour away, and I'm working. And we were talking again, and I'm like, I want to start a project, but I don't know exactly what. And you and I, like, we did some stuff and talked a little bit, but it wasn't anything crazy. And then, like, what was it? I don't even think it was a week after PAX. I called you or I texted you, and I'm like, I have an idea for a show. What happens if Jimmy Fallon, Saturday Night Live, and Space Ghost Coast to Coast have a bastard child and talk about board games? And I think that was kind of the birth, because you were looking for a project, and I am definitely an idea guy, but as you can tell, Gary's the technical guy, because there's no way I could pull any of this off without what we're going to start to do with the show and how we're going to have people call in and be on screen. I mean, if they were all sitting here on the couch and I could fly them all in, Kickstarter goal year 3, then awesome. But right now, that's just not going to happen. So this is kind of our next best thing. So next thing you know, we're talking about it. December, we're talking about it. January, we're talking about it. Came up with a name. Found out it was available, and then next thing you know, we're putting up content, and it legit, this is happening. Like, this is kind of crazy to me. Like, we have guest book. We've been contacted by people, and I'm like, you guys realize I haven't even done a show yet, right? And I'm kind of like, it's a little scary, not gonna lie, but I've gotten lots of positive feedback from lots of people I know in the biz, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, it does seem like it is.
yeah.
No, but that's literally exactly how we all started, like literally from front to beginning. Now, while I'm still
Sorry,
trying to figure
Gil,
out how
by
to
the
get them
way.
up on the screen, we do have some questions. The first one I'm going to answer is, well, put up on the board before we get into the trash talking ones. Any planned conventions you plan on visiting?
No,
as
Gary has
Game All
not
Night?
gotten any better at Star Realms. He has not.
I was going to ignore that one for a minute.
Nope. Still sucks. He takes the bugs every time. Just ignore it. It's not worth playing. So what was
they're
that
not so
first
bad.
question? Come on. So which one you want to give me?
Is the any planned conventions?
So, well, first we need to get some planned shows. So actual planned conventions, Game All Night. At the moment, we don't know if it'll be at anything. Let's be honest here. What I would love is if we could make PAX. I think PAX would be awesome, because PAX U is very local to both Gary and I, so we can both be there. And frankly, I could probably move this set and do a show down there, and I think it's very doable. And there's a lot of people attending, so I think that that's something that absolutely could happen. Will I personally be there? Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I also have planned for Origins this year as well. Since I did Gen Con last year, this year's I think it's going to be a good take for Origins. But I'll probably be manning Capstone's booth for a chunk of that because I love Clay. I love hanging out. So
You know what's funny?
that's my conventions. What about you?
As Game All Night, I mean, PAX Unplugged, yes, would be the ideal one for both of us to go to as Game All Night. I wish we would both be going to Gen Con to maybe attempt something there, but that seems kind of out of the picture for both of us for the most part. And the other conventions I'm going to, just in general, I guess you could say as myself and partially as a representative of Game All Night, would be Dice Tower Con. I should be going to my local Connecticut
ConCon?
PAX Unplugged. Those are kind
ConCon?
of the main two. I feel like there was a third one I was considering, but for the most part, those are the main two that I'm going to this year. But yeah, that's basically what I'm in for this year. It's not as crazy as it was last year, but that might hopefully change. Hopefully. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
I was just
this
looking, and Gil
this
just
could be
pointed out that
crazy.
we are actually live on YouTube as well, which makes no sense.
Oh, nice.
But I'm fine with that. So, but,
Thanks. And like I said, technical problems. Contact Gary Pope.
Yep, this is basically what I'm playing here for, and that we're going to be running into a few of them until everything gets ironed out. I mean, stuff like this is naturally going to happen. But
Oh, absolutely. And this is exactly why we're not opening with live shows. Number one is I think the live show is definitely going to happen. I think it's the best format for this, absolutely. And we want you guys to see the full interview, not what we edit down or add in. So expect that. But right now, just trying to get everybody scheduled and everything, trying to get people into the studio per se, is proving to be a little difficult on the time front. So we will work to get to the point where we can have better schedules and we can be consistent. Say, hey guys, every Thursday night at 9 and Thursday night at 11 p.m., we're going to record Game All Night and we're going to have 2 guests. That would be ideal. But right now, people don't know us from Adam. We're just getting started. Now, granted, we've got good buzz, I've got good friends, and I've got a lot of people lined up, so that's a good start. So hopefully that'll parlay itself into a consistent schedule that we can then, hopefully relate to you guys, because I don't want to do this where, we're recording Tuesday this week and Friday afternoon next week and Thursday night. I want it to be consistent. I think that's going to be important.
yeah, same. And yeah, it's just one of those things where we gotta go through the whole growing pains, because it's if there's one thing that me and Chris can attest to so far from starting this is that there's a reason why a lot of people don't do this. Like, this is like, if I knew it was going to be like this much trouble from the start, I would have been like, maybe we should consider maybe something a little bit more different a little bit. But no, I'm actually very glad that we're getting into this, because this is like awesome that what the turnout of it is and everything like that. And even though it is a lot of work, it's definitely 100% worth it at the end of the day. But it still is pretty funny though, because we kind of literally just said that like the other day. We're like, yeah, we see why this isn't always done. There's a lot of dumb things that go on in this.
But I think what it shows is that we're kind of committed to making this work. I think that what we want to bring is something that's completely unique. There is no board game within 20 feet of me right now. I think that's kind of exciting, actually. Like there's not a board game behind me. There's not one on a shelf. I don't have a sponsor with, say hello to this lovely board game X. It's, we're not going to sit here and give you rules and reviews. It's none of that. And I think that, it's something that's kind of missing is there's a lot of personality in this business. And I think it's kind of we need to shine a light on some of it. And I think that's going to be a really cool niche for the show.
Okay. So by the way, I finally got the social thing working, which for some odd
Whoa!
reason I've been running
Social
this thing
thing.
on my computer. Yeah, I've been running this thing on my computer for like 2-3 weeks now. It's been working flawlessly. I've been doing live streams, test live streams. It's been working. And all of a sudden, when I get into an actual live stream, it doesn't work. But we got it working. So the first thing that popped on the screen now is Gil Mello. He asked, we already kind of answered this a little bit. We could just answer this really quickly. But he said, so are you planning to have people in location as well?
Well, so I can tell you, why Gil wants to know, because he lives close.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're planning on two things. Number one is we're planning on having people in that couch right there. That's the goal, is that, the TV can stand in, but, having a live guest would be pretty darn awesome. There's a few people that live local that could potentially fill that role. And also, we can have a audience eventually when I get a camera on them. We're going to have the potential to have people sitting. I have another couch that you can't see, but it's about 10 feet the other way, occupied by my wife currently. And it's perfect place for an audience. But just be warned that there is a permanent reserved spot for Will Wheaton. He's kind of the reason I'm doing this. He's the ultimate guest that I want to get on. When I have him, I drop the mic, but it's too damn expensive, so I'm not doing that. But that would be a great show, I think. So that, to answer your question, yes, and yeah. So if you're in the Philadelphia area and you want to come visit a taping and you want to hang out, I'm more than happy. Bourbon pays the way. Bring some along, and we'll have a fun time of it, I think. So, I see my niece hopped
It
in.
would be so much easier if I lived in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
TV needs some lighting.
Next one
What
is,
exactly is she?
One second. And this should be
Doo-doo.
updating.
Jay needs to
All right,
make
okay,
flair
so
for the
only one word on
show.
Gil's
I
question.
see.
Perfect. All right, so there's another question. This was on Facebook. And it looked like, who wrote this? It's from Daniel Robinson. He said, maybe I missed it, but when is your first show supposed to go live? We kind of answered this a little bit, but I don't think we answered everything.
So the goal is what was 2 weeks from yesterday. So that's math. Math eludes me. It's going to be, we're planning on releasing Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be recording next week, so hopefully we'll have the first one up and running a week from then. So that's the goal right now. If you pull up a date for me, because you know things. Let me see if I can.
An actual date?
Yeah, like
If I recall
calendars and
correctly, I
things.
could've swore that you said we want to release episode
22nd?
1 on Monday, the 19th, I think. You said, the 22nd?
Monday the 19th. So definitely by the 22nd, 10 p.m. will be Roy Candiday's episode going live. That's definite. We're going to be sitting down with Roy. He's going to be on the couch, the virtual couch, sorry. He asked if we could green screen him in. I think that'd be pretty friggin' awesome. I'm like, I don't know if I could send him a big green blanket if that would work. But knowing what I know green screen now, I'm going to say no. But anyhow, so we're going to record him next week, and then hopefully we'll get it up. If we can get it up a little early for y'all, so we can test out everything, we certainly will. But definitely by Thursday the 22nd, will be full on one a week, because we should have 2 to 3 episodes in the bag by then. So, sorry, it seems like it's such a delayed
guys, if you see the
on
comments about
start,
it
but
being dark on my screen.
You're dark. Oh, Victor showed up. Hey, Victor. Hi, Heather, by the way.
And okay, so next question. But yeah, so in terms of my whole situation here, yeah, I do need to fix the lighting, so that's definitely a work in progress. All right, so
Well,
next question.
you're a work in progress.
JP
Let's be
asked, was
honest.
that a large was that a large red clank dragon meeple I saw in front of your risk map when you did your studio walkthrough?
Jay caught that, did he? Yeah, it was. If I could ask for some studio assistants to maybe grab that for me, if I ask really nice, the you can take that. Just it's the red guy over there. Jay and I kind of went back and forth on Twitter a little bit over his segment, and I kind of, well, as this is proof, I kind of go a little nuts when I'm doing projects and things. And while Jay, I was not brave enough to use a 2x4, I used a 3/4. But yeah, that's absolutely a Clank Dragon.
I didn't even notice that in the
I've yet
video.
to
That's
make
sick.
and how long did you stare at that video? 4 hours?
That's
Come on.
okay. That video wasn't as long, but still, yeah, I should have noticed that after.
So yeah, that was I used 3/4 inch. Jay used like a 2x4. It was ridiculous, and so I of course I went and did it to like 6 other start player markers that I scanned and blew up. So Jay does awesome stuff. I love what he does. I need to find his decal cutter because that's it's all downhill if I do that.
All
What
right.
else you got?
Next question. Oops, thought I had one. Yeah, it was just like, yeah, the TV's dark for a while.
Yeah. Well, the TV's dark, but Gary, I kind of hate to bring this up, but you are too. Just saying.
Hey, what? No, no. Really? Since
Just
when?
saying. Since I don't know if anybody ever told you this before, so you might need to consider some lights there.
But yeah, there's no more additional questions at the moment. But in terms of future planning of things, going back to like how we're saying, like we believe the next schedule is going to be Roy Candy, and that's going to be released on the 22nd. And then after that, like Chris said, we're going to be releasing an episode every single week following after that. And one of the plans is that hopefully, maybe by like, what do you think, Chris? Like fifth, sixth episode, maybe it might be live at that point. Maybe seeing how things.
Well, I mean, like what I envision happening is that we have 4 guests ready to go. We're gonna probably get a few more after that right away. And then hopefully we could start doing some live. I think between 6 and 9, the potential exists. But I want to do another couple Q&As, maybe bring in a guest or two, and maybe have some guest callers, just to kind of, practice with the live stuff a little bit more, just to make sure. Because one thing, and I think you can kind of tell, is that's very important to me is quality up front. I don't want to have to figure this out on the fly. I want it to be rock solid when it happens. Gary does an excellent job of editing me. Oh, your camera just died.
Continue.
Long live the camera. It is dead. Anyhow, I just think that it makes sense to make sure it's going to work 110%, and we can practice, play on the Q&As, bring you guys in, and stuff like that. I think that's going to be the best way to handle that, and then eventually we'll try and go from there.
Good thing I decided to wear pants for the
So.
set.
You and me both, brother. Podcasters. You got it made. You can do this in your boxers, and nobody cares. But like, whose bright idea was it to wear like a suit jacket every episode? That might not last. I don't know. Keep it classy. Keep it classy.
Yeah, but I feel what you mean with Chris saying about like whole quality control stuff like that, because there are a lot of things that we need to get down live. For example, like something that I should have remembered at the very beginning of this is that I should have done something like this. and said like, "Hey guys, this is Chris here. So there's his information." And then like, oh, whenever I'm talking and stuff like that, it could be switching over to my camera, which is like then I'm switching over to my stuff. So there's like little things like that which we need to get down doing it live, and it should almost be like second nature rather than me forgetting like this entire time that we're talking to you guys. So, but these are the things we're going to be learning and figuring out as we go along. So it's just going to take a little bit. But besides that, like for YouTube on the notification part of it, that the delay has increased between. Oh, so everyone's hearing us at different times, Gil? Is that what you're saying? Okay, that makes sense then. That's actually really good to know because that means then that requires a whole troubleshooting session of me just sitting down and testing the timing between the two. Basically what Gil's talking about is that YouTube is going...
I'll get a Furby to stand here and just talk to you the whole time because I don't know if I can do it again. He'll just sit here and move its beak, and you can just kind of say, like, well, it's either right or it's wrong, and you can kind of sync it off from there.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if I can do that again.
All right. But
for those of you who don't know, last night we were supposed to do a Q&A.
Yeah.
Was the original plan. But we kind of got caught up doing a lot of other stuff, and one of the things we were testing was the audio, and he kept telling me to talk and vamp, and believe it or not, I don't do that well. So I just started playing music, and he was getting a little annoyed because apparently my taste in music is not very good, according to Gary. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. It's not bad. It's not bad. Come on,
No,
you picture
it's,
little Groot
because there's
running
a lot-
around the
there's so
desk.
much
Come
I
on,
can
make it
troubleshoot.
happen.
What was that?
Sure. So you can get a little Groot running around the desk. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Does anything, as long as it's just there, and then I can just look at it and then mess with it later and just mess with it on my own, then yeah.
You got Disney money. It's fine. It's fine.
I wish I wouldn't be doing this if I had Disney money. You're the last.
And you'd be doing something like this. I have a feeling.
funny thing
I don't
is-
think you could not.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely would be like I would get bored after a while, but
I
yeah.
would not own a restaurant. I'll tell you that. There's no way I would ever own a restaurant in my life.
Hey,
It's just
man,
not happening.
that's-
Sorry.
I'm not even joking. That's actually a dream of mine. I'm not even joking. I actually want to own a cafe. That's a cafe bar. That's kind of what I want to do. That's like if I could be like, hey, Garrett, what's your end game? I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd definitely be running a good cafe bar sort of board game thing sort of thing. That's like literally
Sure.
my thing.
Sounds great until you leave at 3 in the morning
Oh yeah.
every night.
Oh, I know.
But you're already doing that, so what does it matter?
Yeah, true, right? 6 a.m. actually.
Hey, Gil just threw up all over my board games again. Like, that's not cool.
You know what I'm noticing?
You need a little extra insurance.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
So I'm noticing a really funny thing, and this is actually why we're doing a live test Q&A. When people when people say things on Facebook, it's not able to pop
Right.
up on the social media thing. But when people say stuff on YouTube, it works. Like for example, Gil just said, and I'm going to send it right here, you guys are doing amazing for the first time, and I'm able to pull that up in 2 seconds, and that's the easiest thing ever. And then when I try to pull up something from Facebook, nothing comes up. So that's something I need to look into. Which makes no sense why that happens.
Look away.
But that's interesting to know, though.
Well,
But that's what that's what we're here to learn. So, but anyways, board game cafe
Thanks,
with
Gil.
craft beer, please. Oh yeah, definitely it has to be with craft beer. That's like,
well, yeah. The problem with that though is the fact that the last time I ran a bar that had 18 craft drafts, that's when I got to like 285 pounds. So I'm gonna avoid that. Just because as much as I love beer, that's a little scary.
okay. Yeah, okay. I guess I really need to sit down here and test the whole Facebook thing. A lot of people are saying how Facebook and YouTube is severely delayed. That's actually really interesting. All right, so we have another question here. How is Game All Night
Shoot.
going to be different and stand out? Are there segments in mind that aren't being done by others? And that was
wow.
Tony
That's good.
Gilotti.
Tony. So we're starting Game All Night to be completely different out of the gate. As you can see from the set, we're not going to sit in front of bookshelves. We're going to look for guest engagement. We're going to try and get the crowd involved in some things we have ideas for. You'll see that kind of in the first episode, and perhaps when we do the output version of this Q&A, when we cut it down and shrink it and make a show out of it, which we will do. And we'll probably get that up in the next, like I'd say within the next week. But the idea is that we're just going to interview people. Like, my idea is that we're going to talk to people in the board game hobby, around it, and adjacent to it. So that might mean, for instance, I might bring in the guy who runs my local store, Carl. He's amazing, overly opinionated, but hey. And I think it would be awesome to interview him and get his thoughts on like what Kickstarter does and stuff like that. We're going to interview people to find out, what makes them tick outside of, like, well, what's your favorite game? That's if I ask that question, call me out, because I really pray to God I never ask that question of a guest, because I don't want it to be about the games. I want it to be about the people. If you guys want to go see a video about how to play a game, or you want my opinion on a game, there's 50 other places to get these things, and you don't need a new source to tell you that, because God, every day there's like 5 new shows that crop up telling you about games that may be 5, 6 years old, and I'm over it. My YouTube feed is just inundated with it. So we wanted to be different and just kind of put the light on the people in the hobby, because let's be honest, there's some pretty cool people in this hobby, like, who are juggling all kinds of stuff. And it's why media creators are going to be some of our first guests, because who's more passionate than people who just throw their time at this hobby? Like, they are legit, like, they're playing games, they're talking about them, they're getting out there, they're going to conventions, they're trying to make a name for themselves. I mean, like, there's some cool stuff happening, and I think we as a unique creator here, we're going to try and do something different. I was really inspired by, initially, This Game is Broken. They just started up not too long ago. I think they're on episode 11 now, and they came out of the gate swinging, and I'm like, this is, whose line is it anyway for board games? This is awesome. This is perfect. Doesn't hurt that what's his name over there helped with the show a little bit, but it was something unique and a different take, and they're not just giving opinions and trying to make you like a board game, and that's not what we're going to do. So segments, expect segments to look like late night show segments. We have a couple ideas. We're going to start off with a top 5 countdown, kind of like, in the style Letterman and things like that. We're going to have an audience of 1, initially, and that's going to kind of be something different. We're going to be publishing a video that's, what I think some people may do in a podcast form, but nobody's really doing it long form video. So I think that's going to be different as well. But I got a good feel about this, and I think that it's going to be something fun. It's going to be something special, and I can't wait to kind of kick the tires and see what this baby can do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's basically why I got into wanting to make this entire show too, because when me and Chris kind of approached each other with the idea, like he said, I wanted to make like late night show, and like one of the things we really literally at the exact almost same time kind of said to each other was, we also don't want to talk about board games really. So it's like it was really weird how that happened, because like he approached me and I was just like, oh, that sounds like a sick idea. By the way, I was also kind of thinking of like making a podcast where we don't talk about board games, where we get board game people. And he was just like, that's kind of what I wanted to make this show about too. And I was like, whoa, there you go, we got a show. So it just worked out convenient like that.
It's funny because we mentioned this stuff, and Gil and I. So for those of you who don't know, Gil in the chat room right now, him and I kind of on a whim last year decided to go to Gen Con for one day. So we drove from Pennsylvania to Indianapolis. It was 9 hours day one going out. It was 10 hours day two coming back. And I'm not a slow driver. And we just literally spent Saturday at Gen Con. That was it. Props to Jamie for helping a brother out, whatever that means. But anyway, we just we wanted to go out for the Secret Cabal meetup, Gen Con 50, and just to hang out. And if we didn't get into the show, we didn't. We didn't care. But the whole time out, we're just talking about, like, I want to do something in this business, but I had no idea what it was. And I enjoy being around the content creators. I'm like to say I'm friends with the Secret Cabal guys. They're relatively local to me. I get out there once a month or so. But I don't have a way to kind of contribute. And I was looking for that and trying to create something. And that's where, this idea came from. It was something that, just kind of struck. And I literally reached out to Gary, and that was the actual Facebook message was, what if Jimmy Fallon, Space Ghost, and Saturday Night Live made a board game show? What would it be?
If and you that's didn't say where Space Ghost, I would have said no.
Oh, it needs to be Space Ghost. Like, I need to be able to pick on somebody. That's kind of in my nature. It's going to happen. Like, as if you can't tell, it's definitely going to be there. I think kind of the shtick and the funny of this is gonna. It's only going to grow and get better. I believe that. And the more comfortable I get, the scarier I might get to some. But I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, this definitely will be. I can definitely see this being a ton of fun. Once we get everything down to get all the kinks worked out, then we're just doing stuff. So, but, so basically along the line of questions like that in terms of, like, what are we going to be doing differently? Another thing that I think we're going to be doing differently, besides what was already kind of stated, besides not trying to avoid talking about board games, trying to avoid like the same old kind of set, same old kind of look and stuff like that. Another thing that we really want to, I guess you could say, excel at is, I guess, like, production quality, is because, like, for example, like, one of the things that, like, what we're trying to do right now, this is, like, I'm not trying to rub my own shoulder or anything like that, but, like, this is, like, pretty ridiculous stuff that we're trying to work with. And, like, when me and Chris, like, troubleshooting stuff, I don't usually get headaches, but I get headaches when we're trying to troubleshoot this stuff. Because it's like,
it doesn't help that I'm, like, throwing 3 curveballs at you saying, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? I'm the typical creative person who is constantly throwing little curveballs at Gary all the time. Absolutely.
No, and that's great that you're doing that, because then it gets me thinking, it gets me trying to make things smoother and better. And I mean, since we're using vMix and everything like that, that makes everything just so much. I mean, everything, it's complicated to use, but you can do whatever you want with this thing almost to a degree. So it's really good that we're
everything almost to a degree. If there's a few more qualifiers in there, I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think.
We have another question.
I don't think.
Next question is, what rating are we shooting for? What rating is, as in, are we getting an R rating, a PG-13, CVMA? I'm not sure if that was a sarcastic question or a real question, but
no, it's a fair. If nothing else, it's a fair question.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we're not going on. We're not going to go full on crazy with language, but I also don't want it to be a barrier to somebody who has to watch themselves. So family friendly, no. But would you put the kids to bed and watch it? Yeah. But I don't think, we're not gonna go full on blue with the show at all. But I do feel that we should be comfortable enough to use some adult verbiage from time to time. But obviously I don't want to go crazy with it because I don't want to put people too far off, but this is definitely shooting on a more mature level, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I mean, heck, we got drinks,
Yeah, I've been
banter,
drinking beer
and
this
the
entire time,
likes. It
man.
might,
So,
yeah, and water. Is that water? Red Bull? You
no,
at
this
least
is
got
a
some Jaeger in there?
no, this is a we're going to just talk about what we're drinking right now tonight. So this
Is
is
this
a
is this like a Bud Light Limerita? Is
no,
that
it's
what
a
you got going on over
Prospect
there?
cider wort. It's a cider. It's a cider. A
It's a
paradise
cider.
cider.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
6%. It's a cider with orange peel and grains of paradise.
Grains of Paradise. Nice. I don't know if we're going to do a what I'm drinking segment because I don't know how many times I'm going to hear you say paradise. It was a
me
little
to-
too happy right
I
there.
go grab my
And I'm just doing bourbon.
I go grab my
Bullet
chocolate,
straight up bourbon tonight.
chocolate stout with orange peel.
Yeah, you already did that. That's done. You can't do it again. Once it's been
That was
done,
last night. No, oh yeah, that
you
was
did it. You posted it. It's done. It's done.
All right, fine.
Over. Sorry. That ship sailed, man. You shouldn't have used it all up.
But just to reiterate on the whole ratings thing, I think like long story
Who's-
short, just to get off there, get
Who
off
is
this whole
Brack?
Yeah. just-
I like the chat room already. This is good stuff.
All right, but I think like the best way to sum it up is that we're going to try avoiding dropping f-bombs. I guess is like a good way to say it. But
Yeah,
if we know that
exactly.
there's a guest that we're going to have that they cannot control themselves, which I don't have really that big of a problem with, then we'll probably make a disclaimer beforehand and stuff like that. But you never know.
Right.
But we're going to try to avoid that at least for the most part.
So if we had to put a label on it, I would say it's between PG-13 and TVMA, depending on which guest we have on. If I'm recording the third show in a day, that one's going to be MA, guaranteed. Because as Victor, if he's still in the chat room, will tell you, if you record multiple episodes, what generally happens by the end is, you tend to get a little happy. So
Yeah,
I foresee that being a potential possibility. So with that comes a little looser tongue than, say, would be advisable on, say, the Dice Tower or something like that, and that's fine. But more Secret Cabal style, I think, is kind of the happy medium.
Yeah, Victor
If that makes sense.
said, Victor the Geek said, they're going to be a whiskey tasting episode. I guess like the easiest way that will happen is if for us personally, if we go like 3 episodes in a row, and like especially if it's like a
Well,
live recording too, and then people can see that progression through the.
Again, Victor's referring to being in that basement at that bar. So I run a little local con every year that I invite like 40, 50 friends to. And we last year we did a whiskey tasting, and Victor not only ran an awesome we did a Dread campaign, and I called on him to do it, and he did. It was a lot of fun. Like, I could totally see maybe broadcasting something like that on a live stream down the road, because it was pretty awesome.
A ton of fun. I'd
Yeah.
love to do Dread.
Yeah,
I don't like RPGs. I love Dread.
Exactly. I'm not like, I don't have time to invest in a full RPG, but Dread was great, and as a one-off, it was really engaging and fun. The only difference I would make is I want to make a giant Jenga instead of just like little Jenga. so you're pulling the big
one.
like 2x4s out.
We should.
Well,
okay,
you're
how
in
about this?
Connecticut, dude.
How about we make like a future?
You
little
come
thing
to
of
my
this-
40th. You
the whole
come to
con
the
thing?
party next year and you bring it. Yeah, you come to my little con and you bring it. But we did a
that's for
whiskey
your birthday?
tasting that night.
That's for
Yeah.
your birthday.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I started
thought,
it.
I thought it was just a
Yeah.
con you had every year. I didn't know it was like, oh, this is also my birthday sort of thing. That's cool.
Yeah. Last year we had an escape room. Nobody got it. One person would have, but no. My friend and I made it a little too tough, unfortunately. But it was it's fun. I mean, we have people here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they just game all day, and actually spilled into Monday. And like we played a bunch of 18xx. It was awesome.
Oh, dang. So Jason Martin had a follow-up question to almost like the whole rating thing. He said, does that mean we could see gratuitous
Sure.
violence? I can't pronounce that word.
If Gary keeps it up, absolutely. He's got a Furby on the desk that I control, and I can unleash it at any time, and it'll just go all chainsaw on him. Violence, no, but definitely some cursing and stuff like that. But I'm sure Gary will throw graphical bits of violence in if you really need it in your daily life.
And while we're on that
if we
whole
have
subject
to.
of
Absolutely.
like stuff like that, like if I'm
Yeah.
not wearing like pants that day, then there might be some nudity. Just give you a heads up. Just a warning. Sorry, not sorry. Anyways, but no, I really see that being like a cool idea. Like, let's say for example, if we did like a live dread thing, like during like a PAX Unplugged, that'd be awesome if we did like
Right.
since we might consider trying to do the whole thing at PAX Unplugged, maybe that's like we'll see if that happens. It's not out of the possibilities, but
I think it's highly possible. I think
okay. All right,
you and I were discussing it. I think it's if
You're the one
things
with the
go
set.
the way we'd like them to go. Yeah, dude, I can move it. I can totally move it. It's just probably getting the time from work is going to be the trick. But and the couch might be different that day. But
Yeah,
I
just use
think
the
it's
couch inside the
completely
hotel.
doable. Yeah,
Let's not break our backs.
and it would have to be all live recording one camera because there's no way I would trust hotel Wi-Fi. It's just not happening.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely not. But no, I totally see having some fun with this and being pretty cool about it. Absolutely.
J Peak asks, "Are we aiming for 11 midnight live episodes every time?"
No, we just kind of did that because, frankly, I just worked until 9 p.m. So my time. So it was more of a good time for you and I to get together. But we're probably going to shoot for mostly in the evenings, Eastern Standard. That's where we both live, so it works pretty well for us. And we'll probably shoot for the 7 to 12 range for guests to kind of slot in. And we're giving each guest about 2 hours just in case they decide to be awesome and give us a lot of content and not shut up, and me not want them to shut up because I want this to be open-ended and a lot of fun. So I don't want to say, sorry, you're at 35 minutes, you can't go anymore. So no, it's like I said, afternoon, evening, mostly evening, and into the late evening. But the release time, will definitely be around 10 o'clock every night.
Yeah, and also if I can have any say in it at all, which I do. I also personally would prefer not having live things on Fridays if we can avoid it, just because, especially at very late at night like this, because granted, we have people checking us out, and that's great. I'm glad you guys actually checking out this live stream. This is awesome.
Hello to anybody who joined us recently, by the way.
Yeah. To be honest, if you can even ask Chris, before this, I was being very, what's the word, cynical? Well, I was just let's see if we get people on here first. Let's see if we can actually get people watching before we do other things. But what's called? I like to see it, personally, I like to avoid Friday
The voice
nights.
of reason, as it were.
What was that?
The voice of reason.
Oh, yeah.
I'm overly optimistic, and yeah.
I had to
Fair enough.
No, get down. No, stop being so positive, man. No, but
yes, Gil, pants are mandatory. Absolutely.
no,
This
but,
is video. Sorry.
Personally, that's my whole take on it. But that's really all I really got to say is that I personally would like to avoid doing it late night on a Friday night, just because, not because I want to go out, but I'm aware that people do things Friday night, so it'd be hard to demand an audience on Friday nights. Granted, it does give people that aren't going out something to do, so that also works out. But yeah.
Fair enough. Gary, I don't go out on Friday nights anymore.
Oh, really?
Just saying. No.
Okay. All right, so then we're always good for
Like
Friday
that
nights.
kid.
Then.
Yeah, Friday night with a nice blanket in front of the fireplace is kind of like a good night. I'm not going to lie.
If we weren't doing
Sorry.
this live show,
You know
I
what?
would
Restaurants are
play-
crowded. Bars are crowded. No.
True.
No.
You know, you're actually right. You can't really do anything without it being crowded on a Friday night now.
I'm adulting. What can I say?
How long do we have? Oh, that's Jay Peak asking about the pants.
The pants?
I thought he was talking about the live streams or whatever, saying like how long do the live streams have to be? It's not the pants.
How long do the pants have to be? All the length. That's all I'm saying. You can wear shorts in the summer like a UPS guy, but that's about it. If the UPS people can wear shorts, you're allowed. That's it.
All right, so at this point, we're kind of coming to an end of questions. But if anyone has any more questions, we'll hang around for like a few more minutes. We'll chat up and stuff like that. But if anyone has any more questions, be sure to throw them in now. We'll go ahead and answer them. What's called? Is there any other? I guess what you could say. Is there any other ideas or any other things you really want to do with the show? Any other concepts? Any like calls for help or anything like? Do you have any like kind of like last comments? Really, I guess the best way to put it.
So, calls for help and things like that. Hard to say right now. I think we need to see what this show's going to do, how people are going to respond to it before we really start getting into what we want to do to grow or add to the show. I can tell you that there is a document that has about a bunch of little things on it. It's got some other, hopefully another content creator coming on board at some point, just to be able to kind of give us another voice and opinion, because a lot of this is going to be me. But I also want to be able to have skits. I want to be able to have some fun, brief little things, and I think that there's a lot of potential there. I mean, if people want to, yeah. So that includes doing commercials, because let's face it, we are not reviewing board games. So, Fantasy Flight isn't showing up with a crate at my door to give me 58 board games to review as payment. That has very little value to us in general, and we're not going to talk about their product usually. So it's not really fair to ask them for that. So we're probably going to do commercial spots. We are going to have some funny ones. They're going to be short. They're just going to be little call-ins. We're even going to take the idea of sponsorship a little differently than what you're used to seeing. I think it's going to be fun. We're going to, like, for instance, I need to give a shout out real quick to, if you didn't watch any of the videos before, but the Meeple Wall of Awesomeness largely comes from the Broken Token. This is my idea was to build this wall, but there's no way I am cutting out all of these meeples by hand. I thought about, and Jay can attest, maybe I could have sent them to Jay. He apparently likes doing projects like that. Yeah. But no, it was not happening. I'm not getting a router and using a flush cut bit, yada, yada, yada. It wasn't happening. So I reached out to a few vendors, and Broken Token came back and helped us out a lot by, cutting X amount of meeples. I refuse to say how many it is because I think that'll be a fun thing to maybe bring up later, perhaps.
It's a lot.
And then to build the wall. Yeah, it is. It's a ridiculous amount, actually. It's way more than you'd think. So we decided to kind of... Oh, what? Like with the Broken Token?
Yeah, when you did that the other day,
I want to move the...
That blew my mind. Yeah, so he can literally switch them around.
I will never do this live. Your camera went dead, bud. So, what's really funny is the first time that Gary and I set up to do a trial run of this, my camera kept cutting off. So it's finally nice to get some payback and laugh at you for a change. So,
right,
but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you, Jay. No way it was happening. Absolutely not. But come on. How many hours have you spent with some of those decals you did? Come on, that's a little crazy, man. So for instance, you may hear me just call out people. we're definitely going to give shout outs to other media creators. I think it's important to be grateful. You know, what we're doing, we're doing something new, but we're standing on the shoulders of people who've come before. Whether it goes all the way back to Scott Mickelson doing his review show in front of a board case stack, or whether it's, you know, Space Ghost doing something irreverent and funny. For me personally, it was being Alan Havey, Night After Night. He was a comedian who did a late night talk show on comedy. It was the Comedy Channel back then. So it's nothing that hasn't been done before. We're just implementing it in a different way. So I think it's important to give shout outs to people who are providing a lot of different things in the board game industry. So you'll hear us do that as well. But it's pretty awesome.
And real quick before we move on to the next couple, yeah, DSLRs are what horrible webcams skill. But thanks, Jason. He said how I got here. He found out
Hey, man.
The board game breakfast segment, and he started following on Twitter. Thanks a lot, Jason. We're glad that actually reached anyone. Credit is on the board game breakfast segment.
Nobody watches Gary. They just fast forward usually. So it's nice that you actually stuck around. Thank you.
That's what I've been told.
Thank you.
So this is what I've been told, and that's just I just go with that. All right, so there's a question here. Keating Tufts asks, "What is the best 18xx game for people who don't play them?" I need to know this too. So.
Wow. So 18xx is a tough animal because you need to like a spreadsheet game, and you need to be willing to sit there and play for a while. The two I'd recommend, I like the new reprint of 46 that GMT did. It's really good, and it's really well done, nice cardboard and everything. Let's face it, when you go from playing board games with excellent cardboard and meeples, and you start to play an 18xx game that is essentially cardboard paper that's been laminated. I've done that, actually built a few of my games that way, and it's tough, man. You just spent $130 on this game, and you got to cut out the tiles. It's ridiculous, but you know, it's tough. The 46 forgoes that, and it gives you a board game experience of an 18xx game. The other option that I love people to start with, because it tends to be shorter, it's in that 2-hour range, is Poseidon. Poseidon it's an 18xx game, kind of cloaked in this weird ship route building game, but it's really at heart an 18xx. So they're the two, if you're kind of a board gamer wanting to get into 18xx, I play around with those first.
All right. That's a great answer. I'll look into that myself, because I'm not looking to buy an 18xx, but I'm looking to play an 18xx, and I might try one Dice Tower Con, because there's plenty of time to play games there. It's almost to the point where it's just like...
Just don't play with Jason. Don't bother.
Is Jason going? I have to find out.
Dice Tower Con? Jason? I feel like half runs that thing.
I think he's talking about Jason in the chat.
Levine. No, Jason. Well, I don't know. You might not want to play with Jason. I don't know him from Adam yet. But Jason Levine, no. He's kind of an 18xx shark a little bit.
I'll have to see. I don't think I've actually played a game with Jason yet. Actually, it's funny. As much as I've hung out with the Dice Tower dudes, I've actually barely played games with any of them. I think I've only played a game with Sam, which is like
maybe fun. That's why you still like them.
Good point. I need to fix like the whole audio.
I don't know. I hang out with Gil. He's kind of a Dice Tower dude, so. And you now.
Yeah, Gil's a cool dude. I wouldn't want to play 18xx.
Yeah, he's good.
Too much time with him. We kind of already went
Fair
over
enough.
this, but Gil asked, will the show have segments other than guests? I could bull through this question real quickly. Yes and no. We are considering having like new future segments and stuff like that with other contributors if they'd like to be a part of the show. But for the most part, it's kind of going to be like mostly an interview thing. But it's one of those things where if it works out, it works out great. But if it doesn't, then we are not banking our lives on having other segments. I guess the best way to put it is in terms of other segments, we have other ideas. Like we have like top 5 lists we're going to be going through. Like we were saying, like we're going to have fun with the commercials. That's not going to be a thing where we have a generic thing. I mean, there obviously will be some generic things because we do need like some time between takes. But there'll actually be fun commercials that we're actually planning on. But does that kind of sum it up, Chris, or is there anything else I'm missing?
Yeah, I mean, we're really gonna open with I guess it's 2 segments, if we would even call them that. We're gonna interview guests. Yeah, we're gonna interview the guests. We're gonna have a little fun with them. I'm gonna kind of sandbag that one a little bit because I'm gonna spring that on Roy. He's gonna be the guinea pig in many levels. So I'll kind of keep that a little close to the vest at this point. And then we're going to do the game All Nite top 5, which was kind of an homage to the Letterman top 10 countdown. I don't trust board gamers to come up with 10 interesting things. No, I just want to keep it shorter, so we're going to actually reduce it to 5. And we're going to announce that at the beginning before each week, where we announce what the top 5 is for this week, and then you guys kind of respond with hashtags or respond in the Facebook post, and we're going to kind of culminate those, look at all the different areas, and come up with what, frankly, I think is the 5 funniest answers, and go from there. And if I come up with one that's funnier than yours, well, you're just gonna have to like it because it's our show.
Yeah, and
So
speaking on the whole GAN top 5 thing, Chris can't see the screen that we're talking on right now, but right beneath there, I dropped down the whole hashtag GAN top 5. There's also a couple other hashtags we're going to be going throughout this entire series. GAN top 5 is going to be one of them where we're going to be asking, like he just said, ideas from you guys for particular listings. The other one that we're going to be doing is, if it'll come up, oh, it came up delayed. Come on, get out there. Come on, you just came out there. Oh, there you go. They're going to get the Gantt Shelfie, which, Chris, do you want to explain the Gantt Shelfie real quick?
Right. So at the beginning of every episode, kind of as an homage to what we refuse to do, I'm going to do the intro coming from somebody else's game room. So the idea being that I'm going to put your shelfie behind me while I do the intro. That way we can kind of throw back and say, hey, by the way, this is my game room and I'm recording here and this is what it looks like. And then we're going to have a little fun with that just so you guys can see your own shelfies up on the screen. So make them pretty, make them good, put the games you love on display. And, you know, you can always hashtag the GAN shelfie tag because I look through all of them. Every single week we do these, and we'll kind of pull them down and play with them and have some fun. I think it's going to be a neat thing to include you guys because I think it's important for you guys to kind of see stuff that you want to see on screen.
Yeah, and another thing,
Since I'm not going to be sitting in front of a game shelf, then I need to have them somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah, we gotta have one. We got one game shelf at least in every show, at least at some point.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a board game show if we didn't have a game shelf, right?
Said the words out of my mouth.
That's.
But yeah, and also with the whole Gantt Shelfie thing, if you guys submit your Gantt Shelfies, you are very likely to be in a show because I think we've only made like a couple posts about it, and I think we have like what 3 shelves, something like that.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah. So you send us your shelves, you're very highly likely to be in an episode at this point. We have 3 at least for the first 3 episodes at least.
You can be on TV.
But not TV.
All right, so, well, hey, if you got a cool TV, you can be on TV, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and I
you can
think,
be on your
I
phone,
think we're going
be
to
on
start
your
wrapping
tablet.
this up. We have one last question, which we already kind of answered. We'll bulldoze through this
All
one
right.
here. This one again. Who asked this one? It was Tony Galoti asked, what cons will you be attending? Real quick, I'll be attending Dice Tower Con. and I'll just be going as myself. I'll kind of semi be representing Game All Night show as well, but also be representing my own channel, which is late to the table, and also as a Dice Tower contributor. So I'll be doing all three of those roles, I guess you could say. And then also I'll be going to PAX Unplugged, where at that point I'll be, I guess you could say I'll mostly be representing Game All Night show during PAX Unplugged. I mean, I'll be doing some of my own, but that's like the one time me and Chris are at a convention together. So I'd like to have that be the opportunity where we're like, that's Game All Night. So, and like I already just kind of said, one of the conventions that Chris is going to, which is PAX Unplugged. But what conventions are you going to, really quick, Chris?
I'll be at Origins, but I'll probably be working Capstone's booth, most of it, and then PAX definitely. That's the two plans. Of course, ChrisCon 2018 for the win, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully I could go to that. I'll see. I'm already tight on
dude,
conventions.
you're invited. So I think we need to wrap this up.
Yep.
I think, hey, awesome to see you guys come out. I'm excited just to have like 4 questions, let alone you guys kind of chiming in, and only one person who shares my last name, which is kind of impressive if you ask me. But thanks guys for responding on short notice. I think coming here on spending an hour plus with us while we do this is it's pretty awesome, and I just want to thank everybody for being here on day 1. Like, this is quite literally day 1. It's been a labor of love over the last 2 months. We're finally hitting the home stretch, and I see the end is near. So I'm excited. Like, we have our first guest booked. I'm chomping at the bit.
Wait,
absolutely.
Do we have 3 guests booked?
We got 4, buddy.
Wait, when did we get the? Okay, I'll talk about that later.
Hey,
must have missed an email.
You got your jobs, I got mine. You just worry about the lower thirds. I take care of all the other stuff. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But all right, so let's close this out. Chris, where can people find you if you want people to reach out to you? What's the best way to get in contact with you?
All right. So, well, you guys obviously know we got the Game All Night show, and that's everywhere. That's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's YouTube. We made that our universal handle, so we should be pretty easy to find. Share us with your friends so that they can come check us out. And it's Nite, spelled N-I-T-E. Had to be a little different so that we could find everything everywhere. And you can always find me at Chris Whitpan on Twitter. Is become the easiest way. I blame Gil for that, by the way. He's the one who kind of introduced me to Twitter at Gen Con, and it's kind of been downhill ever since. So thanks, Gil. Thanks a lot. So that's probably the best way. And you can always email us, gameallnightshow@gmail.com for the moment. Gary, does anybody care about finding you?
No. So we're just going to end this right now.
No.
No.
No. Let's end with the top 5. I got a top 5, man.
Wait, do you actually have a top 5?
I have a top 5. You think I'm just flapping cards around for no reason?
Yes.
I got to throw the pencil. I got to do the top 5.
All right, sweet. All right. You go ahead and do your top 5, and then
right.
I'll do my outro.
So we're going to close with this.
All right, sweet.
All right. So you realize you are showing yourself. There you go. Good job.
Yeah, you're on.
Good job. All right. So every show we're going to definitely do the top 5 countdown. So last week or so, I asked the question, what are the top 5 reasons to do a YouTube show? I think I got 5 responses, so I ranked them. This was pretty easy this time. I have a feeling you guys are going to make it a lot harder in the future. No doubt. So, starting with number 5, the top 5 reasons to do a YouTube show. Because when you are drunk and tired, silly ideas sound good. And I think Gil nailed it on the head on that one. No censorship, no commercial breaks, and having to pay for pesky talent. Well, I guess 1 out of 3 ain't bad, because you're gonna get commercials, and one would hope you pay at some point. So, all right, number 3, because 100 thumbs up are worth 5 victory points. If you can get them, there are 12 advancement tokens in the game total. So
That
Bill
sounds
was
like an
thinking a
expansion
little
pack.
outside the box. It might be. It might be. It's or definitely point salad E.
Yeah, right.
Might be the Feldian answer. Number 2, to get ad revenue so I can spend it on Will Wheaton branded T-shirts and beer. I am a fan of Woot Stout, actually, so I'm 50% okay with this question, although I don't know if I'd run around with the Wesley Crusher T-shirt. Although if I found the Wesley Crushers from the Big Bang Theory bowling shirt, I'd totally buy that.
I hate that I actually know that.
I buy that. Dude, hashtag nerd much. And the number one answer, you do. It's kind of sad because I think it's half serious, is to avoid your spouse. And I think that was by my wife, actually. You're avoiding getting one. That's what you're avoiding.
Zing, just like, cut the show. Hey, guys, we'll see you next week. Bye. No,
well, actually, I think that is a good note to end on. Thank you all for watching. I think we're in for a wild ride. Episode 1 will record next week. It will be, like I've said probably 15 times by now, Roy Kennedy from Epic Gaming Night. So look forward to that. We'll try and get this video cut, and we might throw in a few extra fun bits for you in the process. And that's pretty much it. Anything you'd like to add, Gary, or let's close this out?
The only thing I had to add is just I'm basically along the same lines as Chris in terms of getting in contact with me. The only difference is that you can also reach me at official LTTT on Twitter as well. But besides that, if you're reaching Game All Night Show on anything, you're also reaching me as well. Most likely, Chris is probably going to be like kind of like the front runner of it. I'm kind of like passively helping, and I might also be doing like a lot of like other posts like that down the line. But and also I'll be just switching over to that just to mess around with it every once in a while. But for the most part, if you reach us at Game All Night Show, you get me as well. So, but yeah, that's it. Let's go ahead and close this out.
All right, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.
All right, see you guys. Thanks for watching.